Welcome to Guanajuato, Mexico, one of the most beautiful and romantic cities in all of Mexico. Situated in the center of the country, it's known for its vibrant colors, colonial architecture, and gorgeous cobblestone streets. For our first stop today, we're going to take you someplace where you can truly appreciate the beauty of the city. So let's go.
There are two ways to get there. You can walk, but in 2001, they built this really cool funicular. For perspective, the ramp is 330 feet long and takes you up to a height of 250 feet at a grade of 42 degrees. The station at the top contains some shops and a hotel. As a bonus, if you stay in the hotel, you get a free pass with your lodgings, as well as skip the line privileges.
Voila guys, here we are. We are at the Monumento El Pipila, the most amazing view of Guanajuato. You can see everything that you want to see in Guanajuato from up here. The funicular ride was pretty cool. It freaked me out a little bit because I'm scared of heights. It kind of jerked when it moved to go up the steep incline, so, you know, me being scared of heights. It's fine. It's fine. It's fun. It's fun. But it's totally worth it. I mean, look at this.
The El Pipila Monument is dedicated to Juan José de los Reyes Martínez Amaro. El Pipila is actually kind of a cruel nickname meaning the turkey. He was born with some defects that caused him to wobble when he walked, but now the nickname is a badge of honor. After hearing a rousing speech from one of the leaders of the revolution, he strapped a stone slab on his back, and with a torch, he went to a Spanish stronghold and burned down the door, allowing fellow revolutionaries to go inside and kill all the Spanish soldiers. He went from somebody with a disability that was made fun of all the time to a local legend. You can go around back of the monument and take some stairs to get to the top.
It is really hot up here. It's a lot of steps. Is it worth it? I mean, maybe at night. Maybe at night this would be worth it, but it's really hot today.
After finishing up at the monument, we decided to walk down, and I'm glad we did. There's lots of beautiful flowers and tons of street art. In these murals, it's easy to see the history, the culture, and the artistic expression of Guanajuato. Walking into the center of town, we passed by the Teatro Juarez, a stunning example of neoclassical architecture and European influence, and the Jardin de la Union, a shady oasis in the middle of the city.
So as we're walking through the streets of Guanajuato, this city is so captivating. It is amazingly beautiful. I really don't know if I've been in a more colorful and beautiful city in my entire life. It's easy to see why this was actually designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site back in 1988. It received that designation because this is an amazing example of a colonial mining community, and it has some amazing architecture. And the buildings here have been so well preserved, and they've actually kept all of the original coloring. All of these buildings have these markers that indicated that they are historical buildings, and they actually have to go through special permitting processes and stuff to even paint the buildings, and they have to retain that character. So we are now about to visit probably one of the most prominent buildings here in Guanajuato, Basílica Nuestra Señora de Guanajuato, or Our Lady of Guanajuato, which we lovingly call the Yellow Church.
The basilica was constructed in 1671, but was remodeled after Mexico gained its independence. The centerpiece of the altar is a jewel-encrusted statue of the Virgin Mary. But that's not the only treasure here. Every bit of this basilica is covered in amazing architecture and art. Also inside you'll see the mummified remains of two saints.
Next up, we're headed to another historical building, which contains one of my favorite things: food.
Culture isn't only about history, it's also about local cuisine. So we went in search of a local specialty called a guacamaya, and the best place to get one? Mercado Hildalgo.
This market is super cool. There's people everywhere, there's music playing, and the smells here, there's so much food being prepared here, like you smell it in the air, and it's making us absolutely ravenous. Speaking of being ravenous, it's time to eat.
Yeah.
So look at this guacamaya. It's huge. It's massive. I don't know how I'm gonna eat this. You also got a melon refresco. Is that what they're called? Agua fresca. So I'm gonna try the melon first.
It's so good.
Imagine like the sweetest, tastiest cantaloupe you've ever had in liquid form. That's what this tastes like. This is gonna be difficult. Dropping it all over my lap. I'm gonna have to change these pans. So number one, you have the crunchiness of the chicharrones. This pork, the pork is so soft, so savory. Of course, we didn't get the super spicy salsa because I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to spice. I like it, it just doesn't like me. And the creaminess of the avocado and the bread, it has a little bit of crisp on the outside, it's soft on the inside. This sandwich is amazing. 10 out of 10 for me.
This thing is seriously as big as my face. I have to take like little nibble bites of it and try to hopefully get a little bit of everything at once. But it's seriously absolutely incredible, and it's a local specialty here to Guanajuato. You can't come here and not try this sandwich.
I mean, you can.
You can, but you shouldn't.
If you don't, you're doing it wrong.
So the building that this market is in actually has a pretty cool history. If you look at the building, it kind of resembles a train station, and that's because that's what it was originally intended to be. So back in 1905, the president at the time, I don't remember his name, and I think it was 1905, decided, or for first, he loved European, especially Parisian architecture. So he decided that he wanted to build the biggest, baddest train station there was. He actually had Gustav Eiffel interested in this project, and he actually helped with this project. In fact, Gustav Eiffel designed the clock tower that is on top of this train station-like building. So, and then the market actually, or the building got its name, or Mercado Hidalgo got its name because of a gentleman whose last name was Hidalgo, who was, I believe, a priest and was part of the Mexican Revolution. He was one of the primary leaders, and he was actually hanged right across the street here from the market, or you can actually see it from the market. So it's kind of cool, but a little morbid history all at the same time.
Speaking of morbid, our next stop is the most visited thing in Guanajuato.
Oh man, this is steep. It's like 3 million steps. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the vlog turns a little spooky.
Maybe. We are at El Museo de las Mumias, which is the Museum of Mummies here in Guanajuato, and I really have no idea what we're in for, but the really cool thing is I'm the same height as Jed right now. It's the magic of stairs.
So you see this place advertised everywhere, so kind of excited to go in. No idea what to expect. So there may be some pictures of mummies coming out. So, hopefully it doesn't scare you too much. You run to your mummy. All right, let's go.
Most of the mummies on display here are victims of the cholera outbreak of 1833. However, in 1870, a perpetual burial tax was levied, and if you couldn't pay, they dug you up. They found the majority of the bodies they disinterred to be mummified due to Guanajuato's climate. However, later scientific studies on the mummies would show that some of them were actually embalmed. The museum got its unofficial start in the early 1900s when word got out about the mummies. The caretaker of the cemetery started charging a couple of pesos to see the bodies. Today, it is now Guanajuato's #1 visited tourist attraction.
Okay, so what did you think of that?
Actually, I thought it was kind of cool. So if you're like totally disgusted by these kinds of things, this is probably not your place, but it's a very cool part of the history here in Guanajuato. I mean, these mummies were preserved because where they were buried, there was no humidity or oxygen, and so many of these they're amazing specimens of these people. And I don't know, it's pretty incredible. And I also think the Mexicans view death much differently than we in the United States view death.
So the second part that we went into, which was a separate ticket, was kind of like...
It was a little crypt, and I'm not, it's hard because there's not a lot of informational signs. I don't know if that's actually part of one of the crypts that they found these people in, or maybe I don't know. I know that there is also a graveyard that's attached to this building, so it's a whole area, and apparently those mummies were actually found here on the grounds where they have the museum now, I believe. Like I said, the signs were a little difficult.
Okay, so enough of the somberness. It's time to get to do something a little bit more lighthearted.
Kind of.
You'll see what we mean in a minute.
So Guanajuato is known for all of its narrow alleyways, and now we are going to go visit the most popular of them all, Callejon del Beso, which means Alley of the Kiss. So this place is pretty much the location of Guanajuato's Romeo and Juliet story. So there was a girl who came from a pretty wealthy family that lived in a house that was right next to a gentleman who was a local miner. The two fell in love, but their houses were so close together that they could secretly kiss from their balconies. Yeah. The sad part is that one day her dad found out that they were, and he killed her. I don't know why he killed her instead of him, but you know, it's a crazy thing. It's like Romeo and Juliet-ish kind of story. It ends sadly, but it's a really pretty little corner. And I don't know how absolutely true this is. The third step from the bottom is actually painted red, and supposedly that is the location where he killed her. And it says now, if you stand on that third step and you kiss, you'll be in love forever.
How romantic.
This.
Want to go kiss on a murder scene?
Yeah, let's do it.
Update, we just found out the name of the two lovers. It was Carlos and Anna.
Yes, and it's super crowded there right now. It's like 5:30ish in the afternoon, you know, prime touristy time. But luckily we had gone there a couple of days ago and we got this amazing little snapshot of us kissing on the third step. And so now we can be in love forever. So after we also drank the water from the crossing fountains in Rome, and like we're stuck, I'm pretty sure, with each other forever.
I hear you, if you pay somebody enough, you can have your significant other murdered on the third step, but I don't know. All right, guys, we hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, found it useful, or just feel like clicking a button,
Hit the like one, this one.
and hit the subscribe one too, since you're in that clicking mood.
Yeah, and the notifications bell, that way you can be warned every time we put out a new video.
Yeah, not necessarily like notified, but warned. And that's gonna do it for now. And until next time, stay wonderful.
Call it a day.